Hi, my name's Sue Ellum, and I'm a professional tarot reader and have been for about 25 years now. And I use the Mythic Tarot, which is based on Greek mythology.
And I'm Carrie Bellino, and sometime we'll put the bloopers in in our videos.
They're all mine.
I am a spiritual life coach, also an intuitive Reiki master teacher for 20 some years as well. And we are giving some practical advice for very practical questions going on right now. So I've got the questions, and we've added probably 50 new questions this week. So we shall see. We're starting to find with our subscribers that people are resonating with the question that we happen to coincidentally pull for the day. So we're very excited to see that trend happening. So today's question. I know I have habits I'd like to break, but I just can't seem to commit. This isn't me. This is a general question.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, and so say all of us.
Right.
I must admit, when you start saying about that, I thought, I wonder if the devil comes up, because the devil card is what typifies this. So
bad habits, we shall see.
This will be interesting. No, it hasn't come up. I'll tell you that now. It's
different direction.
Yeah, but it's answering in a slightly different way. Okay, if you've got these habits, then you're restless. You know that by getting rid of them, you can do more with your life. So they're kind of a bit of like a ball and chain. They're holding you back. They're things that you really need to deal with. But it takes commitment. But this card here, the Page of Wands here, this is the very beginning of the process. It's the very beginning of your thoughts about getting rid of these particular habits. But then we get the Queen of Wands, and this is about commitment to them. The story of Queen Penelope is that she was obviously a queen of a country, this is, I said, Greek mythology, and her husband went off to war, and he went missing, and after a period of time, the people who were advisors and stuff are saying, look, you need to marry again. We need to have a king as well as a queen of this country. You need to marry again. She said, okay, so well, when I finish this garment, I will then look for suitors. So she used to stitch this garment all day, and then she'd unpick it at night. So she'd make it, and it went on and on. And after 10 years, her husband returned. She just had this feeling that he was still alive somewhere. And she loved him, and she didn't want to replace him. So she kept going and kept going. And this is what we need to do. We need to know that we are doing this for ourselves. We're not doing it for someone else. That is the important thing. Breaking a habit because somebody else thinks that we shouldn't have that habit, that isn't something that is going to motivate us or make us really want to commit to that. We ourselves have got to have the vision of what will be the difference at the end of it. I think sometimes people take it day by day, and then they have a bad day, and then they give up. It's too hard. But you have to have a vision of the benefits at the end of it, or the pain that it will cause you if you hold on to it. You know, that is, for instance, giving up smoking. The benefits is a healthier lungs. And, the downside could be emphysema or something. I think that's how you pronounce it. So you've got to weigh it up, and you yourself in your own mind have got to decide if the benefits outweigh the downsides of the habit, and only you can decide that. But once you have, then you have to commit to it, and just keep on going through good days, through bad days. Just keep going. And if you fall off the wagon one day, it's not the end of the world. Just get back on the wagon the next day. Don't beat yourself up about it, because I know I'm a perfectionist. It's like all or nothing. And if it's not all, then it's nothing. And that is that I can really shoot myself in the foot when I'm trying to get past this. So it's just keeping that commitment to yourself and visualizing and realizing that there will be an end to it, and you will have achieved what it is you're after. You'd have learnt your lessons, you've passed your exams, and you can now move on to something else. So this habit of yours isn't going to be a battle for the rest of your life. It will be just a battle for a period of time, depending on what it is. Sometimes it's a shorter period of time, sometimes it's a longer, but it's not going to be something that will weigh you down for the whole of your life. So there will be an ending, and then new beginnings with the new improved you. There will still be obstacles. None of us, well, life isn't obstacle proof. We all have them, but so there will still be tendencies even to slip back, because when we start off something new, especially if the habit gives us comfort, has given us comfort in the past. So we need to be vigilant that we realize that, okay, it's a bit of a temptation. For instance, if it's drinking, and I'm not talking about addiction drinking, but if you go out a lot and you have a problem with sugar, and alcohol turns into sugar, so it's best for you to keep away from it for overall health. And then you go out, there's a celebration, there's alcohol and soft drinks everywhere. There's still going to be temptations, but just keep your eye again on the end result that you want, and don't focus on the obstacles, because then they become the goal and your life becomes so much harder. You'll also, once you've got rid of whatever habit it is that's bothering you, you're going to have so much energy of imagination, being able to go out in pursuit of a vision, because you won't be weighed down. Because if you hold on to a habit and you feel, I don't have the willpower, I don't have what it takes to overcome it, that becomes such a burden, and mentally it becomes a failure, that we've done so well, but this one thing we just can't do, we can't overcome it, and it's something that matters to us, and it just makes us feel less than. But if you can overcome that, it's like you can do anything. Many years ago, I went on a Tony Robbins weekend, and we did the fire walk. And I tell you something, once you've walked over hot coals, you think, God, I can do anything in my life now. It's really quite transformative. But you have to keep that fresh in your mind, because the memories fade. So you have to keep doing things that make you feel good about yourself, that maybe things that directly address this particular habit you had. Something that if you had that habit, you wouldn't be able to do. So look at it as a kind of a challenge in a way, if that is what works for you. But you'll have a lot more energy, the imagination, and you're going to be so proud of yourself. You're going to be able to pat yourself on the back and say, I've done well. Oh my God, I've done so well. I'm so proud of myself. And now this is done, and I can move on. And those are the cards.
So a big overall message, the theme is self-worth. We tend to fall into habits for lack of self-worth, and then we stay in them for lack of self-worth. So really take a look at how you talk to yourself. The lack of commitment, I want to ask everybody, what is holding you back? Sue started off the cards about being held back from committing. And I guarantee you, it's an emotion. It's an emotion that is holding you back. You may think it's a thought that's holding you back, or a thought process that's holding you back, but those thought processes trigger emotions. So it is an emotion that is holding you back, whether it's fear or lack of self-confidence, which is fear of self in a roundabout way. It's always around an emotion. So take a look at what the emotion is that's causing you to not commit. And then attach an emotion to that end result, that end vision that Sue was talking about, that eye on the prize. Attach an emotion to that. What does that feel like? What does that accomplishment feel like? And I want you to write about it, talk about it, whatever you need to do to boost the emotion around that end result. And then do what you can to experience that emotion as much as you can during your day or your week. So if the emotion is pride, or the emotion is joy, or the emotion is accomplishment, that's not really an emotion, but the emotions that come around accomplishment, then try to find those emotions during the week that because the vibration of the emotions are the same. So it doesn't matter if it's attached to a habit or attached to job performance or whatever. Try to engage in that emotion as much as you can during the day. And I also want to offer about collaboration. And I've talked about this on my personal live videos. Sue and I have talked about this often. The name of the game moving forward, and we did it as well, is collaboration. We are not meant to create this new humanity, this new unity alone. It's not unity if we're all doing it alone. So I challenge you to find someone that can commit to being your support person. Find someone who is not going to wallow in your misery, who is going to see the end picture, who is not going to allow you to sink into that day-by-day roller coaster that Sue mentioned. Someone who's going to be your rock, your steadfast habit breaker, and be your collaborative support person through this. And everybody has one of them. It doesn't even need to be someone that you're particularly close with, like a family member. It can be a colleague, it can be a friend, it can be someone at your church, it can be someone, whatever, in a social group, and ask them to be your cheerleader and your support person. And what's coming up right now too is, I noticed this yesterday, like we've got this, speaking of habits, we've got this disease, this virus, COVID, that is settling in our immune system and is settling in our lungs and in our breath. And I still see an enormous amount of people smoking. And it just really dumbfounds me that knowing that there is something that is settling on the weaker part of our body, the life-giving part of our body, and then to weaken it further by a habit really puzzles me. So I bet if you're listening to this and you're one of those people that feels like this is truth for you, then find that support buddy and take that first step, because your health and the health of all of us really matters.
When you said that about the breath thing. You know, I was thinking, yes, smoking does obviously weaken it, but it's also going back to the, like Louise Hay books and things. It's actually breathing in life. And many people now, they're not breathing in life, not fully. And maybe this is why it's come in some ways, to actually make people realize how precious life is, because many people don't see it as that precious. They're here and they do their things and stuff.
They're on the wheel.
Absolutely. But how many people really have this joy of life, are grateful for their life? And I think this, in some ways, has woken people up to, what am I doing with my life? You know,
Agreed.
and so I think that's just a complete aside to habits, but you know, or is that habit of taking everything for granted, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Well said.
Okay, well, I think we've covered it.
Yep. And we're going to ask you to subscribe to our channel, the one that you're watching this on, or more importantly, share this video with your on your social networks, because we're starting to see that the messages are resonating with people at a particular time. So please, if you're called to share these videos, we ask that you do.
And I'd also like to thank the people who've already given really valuable feedback. It makes us feel so valued and so good about what we're doing. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you all, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, bye.